You're worse than the kids. I hear you creeping around. Like, just make yourself scarce.
I didn't think you were filming. You said you're waiting for me. Is that my phone? Is that my card?
No, this is my phone and this is my credit card. Seriously, Narai? Go upstairs. People don't, like, I don't know how people do this vlogging and record videos with kids and a husband, because I'm struggling right now. I've been trying to do this for the last hour. Welcome to my video. My name is Nisha, and if you're new here, I share parts of my life where I battle sickle cell anemia while being a wife and a mother to two. Today I decided that I would do a quick Q&A. I put some questions on my Instagram and had some of my followers ask questions where I decided to answer there but also share here. Questions, I have them on my phone. Okay, so how do you get sickle cell? So sickle cell is inherited. You would have to have both parents carry the gene. So in my case, both my mother and father carry half of the gene, which is called the sickle cell trait. There's a 1 in 4 chance of getting sickle cell anemia. You can have a normal gene from the mom and a normal gene from the dad. The child would be fine. A sickle cell gene from the mom, a normal gene from the dad, the child would be a carrier. A normal gene from the mom and a sickle cell gene from the dad, the child would be a carrier. Or the sickle cell gene from the mom and a sickle cell gene from the dad, and the child would be full-blown sickle cell anemia, as myself. So that is how you get sickle cell anemia. It is inherited from the parents. Do my kids have sickle cell? So short answer, no, they do not. Basically, from explaining, my husband is not a carrier, nor does he have sickle cell, so he's fine. And I am a carrier. So my kids, even though they do not have sickle cell, they will always be carriers because they will always get the normal gene from my husband and the sickle cell gene from me, but they do not have sickle cell anemia. I can go more into detail with that in another video if you'd like. Just comment below, let me know. How old were you when you got sickle cell anemia? So again, as I stated, it's inherited. So it would be from birth. Long story short, what causes the pain? So basically, normal red blood cells are shaped like this. They're easily flowing through the veins, carry lots of oxygen. They're just healthy blood cells. People with sickle cell anemia, their blood cells are shaped like sickles, hence the name sickle cell anemia. They're very sticky and they stick together, lock together, and they cause clotting and blockages in the vein, and that's what causes the pain. Were you scared your children would have sickle cell? I wasn't scared because I knew prior to having my children that my husband didn't carry the sickle cell gene or have sickle cell. I knew from high school because he was tested, and when we were friends and just hanging out, we did talk about it, and I said, you know, I personally would want to have children one day, and I would like to know that they're not going through what I go through. So they did test my husband again when we got pregnant with our daughter. They retested him just to make sure that he was not a carrier of the gene. Can you work out with sickle cell? Yes, you can work out, but with sickle cell you have to pace yourself and stay extremely hydrated because you don't want to go into a crisis. That's when you get pain, the oxygen's not flowing through your body, and you end up in a lot of situations because you're overexerting your body. So if you are working out, the doctors would advise you to keep extremely hydrated and to pace yourself. And a good thing is to also know your body and not push past your limits because you could end up in pain and it's not fun. What happens to your children when you are in the hospital? Thankfully, for the last 4 years, I haven't had to go into admissions. I only go to my transfusion appointments every month. My mother-in-law, my mother, or my husband watches my children. And before the 4 years, if I had a crisis and I was in admissions, my mother, my husband, or my mother-in-law would watch our daughter because I only had my daughter at the time. Trey, be a good boy, please. Be very quiet. Mommy's making a video. Okay, your show's upstairs, please. Go on up.
It's a movie.
Okay, go watch your movie. After I finish my video, I'll give you a treat. But you have to be very quiet upstairs. Go on. Go on. Thank you. You get the treat when mommy's done. I personally don't trust anybody outside of my mother-in-law, and my husband with my children. So if I'm in a crisis, they are the 3 people that my children would be with. How did you tell your husband that you had sickle cell? I don't remember. I'll have to do a video on that. But long story short, we were friends in high school, and I guess that came up in conversation with me missing school and whatnot. I do remember there was a particular teacher that told the whole class that I had sickle cell anemia, and that was very upsetting to me because at that time I was at a new school. I didn't really have the circle of friends that I had at my previous high school, and to me, I didn't want the whole class knowing that I had sickle cell, so it kind of circulated. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ask him if he remembers. His memory is pretty good, but I don't remember, to be honest, how I told my husband I had sickle cell. Does changing your diet help with your sickle cell? I am a very poor eater. I do not have a large appetite. I eat what I want. I eat when I want. But obviously a better diet would be amazing. I did hear that eating lots of iron foods helps with the blood. I also heard that from Prodigy, from Mobb Deep, he went vegetarian, and he said that his sickle cell was much better to manage. I personally haven't. My dad's a vegetarian now, going vegan, and he's always said to me that that would help. My area is a little bit gray in regards to eating lots of foods with iron, because I have iron overload from having too many transfusions and the iron not being filtered out of my blood. So my iron levels are they have to basically keep watching them. And so my doctors advised me to kind of steer away from iron, whereas most people with sickle cell, they would advise you to eat lots of foods that have iron, etc. Can you die from sickle cell? Short answer, yes. I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of people that I've not necessarily met but followed through social media. I've watched them lose their life to sickle cell. I don't want to say sickle cell is what kills you. It's usually complications from sickle cell. A blood clot. You could have a blood clot in your lung. You could have a blood clot in your brain. There's also pneumonia. There's a lot of things, but the shorter version of the answer is yes, you can die from sickle cell. A lot of people don't think that it's that extreme, but it is. You could have strokes. There's so many different elements to this disease that people don't really understand. How old were you when you were diagnosed? I was 6 months old when I was diagnosed. I plan on doing a video with my mom and having her explain some of the struggles and the frustrations that she had to go through when learning about my sickle cell. From what I understand, my family didn't know anything about sickle cell until I came along, and it was basically a learning chapter for everybody. We found out that my grandfather had carried the disease. Ironic part about it was my grandfather never got tested. My grandmother got tested, and she did not have the sickle cell gene. Therefore, my grandfather did. So my mom learned at 6 months old that I had sickle cell. She said that I was crying a lot. My feet, my hands were swelling. She took me to the doctor. And at that time, my family doctor said that there was nothing wrong with me. I'm just maybe allergic to milk or something. She'll have to tell you that in another video. But my mom knew, so you just know your child. And she said she knew that something was wrong. So my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, which is my grandmother on my dad's side, she recommended my mom take me to a doctor. I will insert a picture of the doctor here. He diagnosed me with sickle cell. He said to my mom, this is what it is. He's like, I will run the test just to make sure, but he knew before he even ran the test, just from my mom's descriptions of what was going on, he knew that it was sickle cell anemia. And obviously my test came back positive, and it was just a learning curve for my whole entire family from the time that I was diagnosed. Does sickle cell get worse with age? I would say yes. For me, it was getting worse. The fact that your body is the wear and tear on your body, or maybe it's the fact that your body's just gone through a lot. I would say it does get worse with age unless you find some kind of method of treatment to help you get through. If you stayed to the end, thank you again for watching another video. I will try to answer more questions in another. If I didn't answer your question today, you can comment down below and I'll try to answer them there, or I'll try and do another Q&A in the future. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.